got about 45 minutes. I promise you I won't take up your whole time, so you'll get some time back in your day. My name is Peter Greene, as Mandy said. I'm SVP of Durable Strategies for Nielsen. God, I've been doing this for longer than I care to remember. And today I want to share with you a little bit of information on consumer segmentation and how we at Nielsen handle it and how it applies to the categories here at KBIS. Okay, it can be as interactive as you guys want. Raise your hand, ask questions, throw stuff if you need to, whatever we're going to do. We'll try to keep it light and fun, all right? All right. So we're going to cover, obviously I've got to talk to you a little bit about Nielsen. I'm going to talk to you about segmentation. I'm going to take you through some examples of data from some of the categories that we track and how you could use it to grow your business. And then I'll take you through a little bit of a summary, and then we'll open it up for questions and answers, okay? So who's Nielsen? Does anybody know? Oh my God, nobody knows who Nielsen is? Besides running KBIS, we are actually the world's largest research firm. And as such, we know more about the consumer than anyone, period, around the world and especially here in the US. There are more than 34,000 of us in 100 countries. I came from a research company that had 1,100 people. So now, being with Nielsen for about a year, guess that guy didn't like that line. Being with Nielsen for about a year, back up, okay. I got too close to the audience, everyone got scared, so my security guard just told me to back up. So being with Nielsen for about a year, it's definitely challenging, right? Because you're going to a big organization, but really what attracted me to this company is just how much information we have. I mean, basically anything about the consumer you want to know, and it doesn't matter if you sell directly to them or if you go through distributors or however you go to market, online, direct, however, we at Nielsen have information on those consumers and we help companies like yourselves find them. So what do? We approach our business of understanding consumer behavior from two all-encompassing points, right? Many of you know Nielsen from the TV rating side, right? Show of hands, TV ratings, right? Okay. So we also track all the media preferences of people around the world. So we divide it up basically into two, I'm going back on the podium in a minute to be safe, to two big groups, right? We call it the watch and buy side of our business. So we know what people watch on television, what they listen to, what they watch online, their media preferences, what they read, all of that. And then we have the buy side. So many people know, obviously everybody knows us from the TV ratings, but what you don't know is we actually are the largest tracker of consumer packaged goods sales in the United States and around the world. So basically, you walk into, we're in Chicago, I don't know the supermarket chains very well. Wegmans here? No? Let's call it Wegmans. You walk into a Wegmans or out by me in New York, or a Stop and Shop, and you buy something. That goes through the scanner, that comes back to Nielsen. Not about you, but about what you purchased. And we track all that, and the Cloroxes of the world, the P&Gs of the world all purchase that kind of information. We benefit from it from a durable side, right? Because we also track houseware sales. We get either directly or through third parties information about home improvement, about major appliances, kitchen cabinetry, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to take you through some of that today and look at some of those categories as it's relevant for the audience, obviously. Okay. So let's talk about segmentation. It looks like I'm reading from my cards. It's because I am. So today, we're going to focus on how you can use segmentation to grow your business. Is everyone familiar with consumer segmentation? Because there will be a quiz at the end. I do have an assistant here who will hand out a sheet, and hopefully you guys will be able to answer it because there won't be any prizes. Segmentation is a marketing technique for basically putting together like customers in groups. Okay, it seems very simple. And in some ways it can be as simple as just you and you look, are the same age, boom, you're a segment. But actually at Nielsen, we've evolved it to be so precise that you really, when we work with our clients, they get a complete understanding, basically almost down to the day in the life of their targeted consumer. Okay, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. Why do we do it? We do it to allow our customers to find their best customers, right? There's the old equation, right? Volume equals whatever that equation is. Basically, it comes down to it's easier to sell more to your people who already purchased your product than not. But also, the cost of acquiring new customers is very high. And what we do is we eliminate some of that risk for you. By using segmentation to target consumers, it's proven time and time again your return on your investment's way better than just doing some mass mailing or a direct mail or anything like that. By tapping into our data assets as a company, we provide views into the consumer that's basically unparalleled in the industry, right? Again, as I talked about, because of all of our different data assets, media preferences, purchase behavior, all of that, online behavior, social media behavior, you put that all into the bucket and we can tell, what's your name? I can't see your name. Sean. We can tell basically Sean and people like Sean, right? He watches HGTV. We'll get a plug for those guys in here free of charge. He has just remodeled his kitchen in the last year. Whatever detail we need to get to basically help people like yourselves find people like Sean who are going to buy your product. It can be macro to micro. I mean, basically, we code up every household in the United States. So right down to the zip 4 level, you know exactly where to find people. So there's places, you don't have to spend money just broadly to find consumers. We can tell you that in this zip code, there's people that will buy your product or would have a higher propensity to buy your product than others, and there's where you need to do your work. All of this is done utilizing a combination of purchasing behavior, demographics, psychographics, and lifestyles, right? Again, movies, music, all of that is tracked by Nielsen, so we know exactly what's going on. I love the graphics that the marketing department gave me. Very circular, you can follow it all very clearly. And we all know, in all seriousness, that today's market's very challenging, right? Success is harder to find, and missed opportunities are more costly than ever. By connecting your people, your products to the people, the places they are, and the places they shop, places they look at online, that's going to help you have greater success than just taking a stab in the dark, right? Segmentation provides you more precision in your attempts to reach the marketplace than ever before, right? And I'll be honest with you, I mean, I come from all durables. I have housewares, appliances. It's amazing to me how many manufacturers don't take advantage of the data that's available to them about their own consumers, just even through registration and warranty cards, but then information like Nielsen can provide to really help them maximize their ability to reach their core consumers. The other thing you need to know about segmentation is it's not for the marketing people, just for the marketing people. It's actually for their whole organization, right? Your sales people, your marketing people, your finance people. It should be leveraged throughout the organization and utilized by nearly every department, right? It really can transform your business, right? You now have, I can't tell you how many times we've done this process with clients, and we interview key stakeholders, be it the CEO, the CMO, the CFO, and we say, tell me, who's your core consumer? Who is it you want to talk to? And I'd get it. Sean would tell me something, Jennifer would tell me another thing, and that man would tell me something completely different. Still didn't hear it, but that's fine. That's all right. So, but the bottom line is, more often than not, clients or companies don't actually agree on who their core consumer is. And using secondary research like Nielsen is really what helps them rally the organization around who their customer is. Being able to utilize that data in all aspects of what they do, be it marketing, sales, again, even for finance, getting them all to speak a common language, to communicate about, we want to go, and we're going to pick on Sean because I like his green shirt. Basically, Sean's our core customer, so let's all talk about Sean. And when we talk about reaching Sean, everybody knows who Sean is, what he watches, what he wears, what he lives, everything that we need to know. So we're not talking disparate pieces when we have conversations and meetings internally about growing our business. So let's talk about segmentation, right? It's really designed kind of rudimentary, right? Let's just take it back to the 4 P's of marketing. Right? It's going to help you with product, it's going to help you with placement, it's going to help you with promotion, and it's going to help you with price. Right? Now what I want to do today is I want to take you through some real data and walk you through how it can be applied to each one of these areas in some way, shape, or form. And really, once a company is focused on opportunity on this, and each area works against the same set of goals as I mentioned earlier, it's really how the data is leveraged across the organization, scaled, and really capitalized on by companies. So let's talk about some of the data. Any questions so far, actually? No? Okay. So, what you're going to see here is this is, and you guys can all see it, right? Especially you all the way in the back. You can see these are 66 what we call PRISM segments. PRISM segments, PRISM is Nielsen's proprietary segmentation schema. And what you really want to notice here, and I think this is going to work. Nope. Thought I had a laser, but I don't. 66 segments. Starting from the left, going back to the right, are based on, a bunch of criteria, but mainly the more to the left, the higher the income. More to the right, the lower the income. Now, of course, what are you going to do with 66 segments? Right? We wouldn't ask any company to talk to 66 different types of consumers. Right? So we're going to show you how we break it down a little bit further and more in chunks that are easier to understand. But just talk about PRISM for a second. Is anyone familiar with Nielsen's PRISM segmentation schema? Anyone? Anyone who's not working for Nielsen? One person. Great. Okay. So PRISM's been around for 40 years. Right? I just want to let you know that we do update it. So from 1970 or 60, we've actually changed some of the TV shows. Sanford and Son is no longer listed as one of people's favorite shows, although it's still one of mine. It is basically the gold standard for segmentation in the marketplace, used by manufacturers and retailers in a diverse set of industries. Right? You've got retailers like Best Buy. You've got all the supermarket stores. And even if they're not using PRISM as the way we define it, being upper crust, or, by the way, I'm not responsible for the clip art. Okay, we paid a lot of money for this stuff, believe me. Middleburg managers, whatever segment it is, there's all of these different pieces that go into it. Again, income, media preferences, as I mentioned earlier. So you have that. And that's utilized by pretty much every retailer in the U.S. And by doing so, even a custom segmentation, right? So if somebody says, well, Peter, that's great. I'm not really interested in your definition of my consumer. I want you to add some additional data that we have and incorporate that into whatever you develop as a segmentation schema. Can you do that? Yes. But all the underpinnings still come back to basically PRISM. Okay? So I talked earlier, I said, 66 segments. Who's ready to go after and create 66 marketing messages? Nobody. We don't ask you to do that. We wouldn't encourage you to do that. And we certainly don't tell anyone to do that. So we do break down the 66 segments into life stage groups, right? And here you can see, yesterday when I came by here to see how this room was set up, there was a big screen. So I figured, oh, okay, my presentation will be fine because it's a little bit small. But this actually is better because now you can't tell if I'm telling the truth or not. But here you can see life stage from top across. You've got younger years, you've got family life, and you've got mature years. And then we break down all those 66 segments and put them in each one of those buckets. And we do it based on criteria of affluence, income, and presence of children. Those are the three, how we kind of group them together in these life stage pieces. And then you'll see, on the left side, you'll see it's the income factor, right? From low to high. And then also age and income play in the middle there, where, for example, younger years, you've got midlife success. So these are people more upper income, a little bit more established, down to striving singles, right? On the left side in the pink bar, right? But all the way on the right side, you can see M1 here is affluent empty nesters, right? And then there's all the segments of those 66 segments that fall within that. And then also we can tell you exactly what percentage of the population each group falls in. So you know the size of the prize you're chasing, right? Everybody's here looking to make a living, right? And how do we utilize this data to grow our business? Well, if you know that your target market's 10% of the business and you want to expand, you need to find similar segments, and at least we can help you size that. Okay? This is just a little bit more about life stage groups. And again, if you go to a website called mybestsegments.com and you put in your zip code, we'll tell you about where you live and who's around your area. And this is just some of the life stage groups. So you can see midlife success is made up of 8 segments, and it includes these, and here's their factors. And again, you can still kind of harmonize these with media preferences, online preferences, and again, age and income and life stages. Okay? So, going back to that appliance slide that I just showed you a few minutes ago, where there's 66 segments across the screen. Here it is by the 11 life stage groups. Right? And you can see that actually 6 of the groups, and this is total appliances, so refrigerators, freezers, so on and so forth, all the big major appliances. You can see 6 of the groups actually over-index, right? So we talk a lot about indexing at Nielsen when it relates to segmentation. You'll see the people on the, you can see the people on the left side, right? Like accumulated wealth, young accumulators, and mainstream families. It's no surprise that major appliances skew towards those types of groups, right? Because they're more established, higher income, probably own their own home, where striving singles are mainly renters who don't necessarily need to purchase a major appliance, right? So you see, it kind of intuitively makes sense, but really until you break things down further, that's where the value and the beauty of segmentation comes out, and we'll talk about that in a little bit more. And we're going to do so in the context of the 4 Ps, as I mentioned earlier. And what I want to talk now about is basically product and how to use store clustering, right? As you think about where your products would sell and what products you need to develop for the process of building it out by segment. So what we did here is, this is interesting, right? And this is very appropriate for this market. This is consumers who have told us that they're in the market to remodel their kitchen in the next year, right? And you can see, again, it makes intuitive sense. Midlife success, accumulated wealth, young accumulators, affluent empty nesters, they all over-index for wanting to redo their kitchen, right? Makes sense. They've got the income, they've got the disposable means to do so, all right?
Is it like 44 to 65 or on average?
Accumulated wealth is more in that age range, right? Where young accumulators are 25 to 35-year-olds. And then obviously sustaining seniors would be older. I think that's the politically correct term. Okay? I mean, I can certainly give you the breakdown of all that after. Sure. When I said questions, only questions I could answer. All right, so let's look at this. Let's look at this as a map, right? 'Cause it's a little bit easier for us to kind of view things graphically, right? So to illustrate this data, we used for store clustering, and again, I apologize, I had a big screen here yesterday. They did anyway. You can see we've mapped each household in the United States down to the Z4 level, right? The zip code 4 level. And here you can see the darker, what should be orangey, kind of looks kind of peachy on this screen. Those are people who index and segments of the market that index higher for the purchase or for the ability to remodel their kitchen in the next year, that have told us that they're going to do that. And we mapped that around all the Home Depot and Lowe's locations in northern New Jersey. And why do we pick northern New Jersey? Anybody want to guess why we picked northern New Jersey? No, because the person who pulled the slide for me lives there. But yes, that's why we do it. So you'll see a lot of northern New Jersey slides as we get a little bit further into the presentation. But so you can see there's going to be, obviously Home Depot and Lowe's are very well situated in the market, right? Deeply rooted. But they can, using this data, they can understand why kitchen sales in one market are doing, in the same state, in the same county even, but could be different towns, why kitchen-related goods could be selling more in one area and not in another area. And you also know, based on income and level and so on and so forth, that you can do store sets that way, right? So maybe I want to put higher end lines in certain parts of my stores in certain markets and not. So as a manufacturer, And if you happen to be distributing through Home Depot or Lowe's, you can partner with them to develop products that are going to meet the needs of those people who are in the market, in the areas that could shop in their stores and within radius, right? And it also helps you set your stores. So as you're launching new products, right, and you want to have success, I mean, obviously, retailers want to see new sales, right? So as you put new products on the shelf, they want to see it move out. Well, if you put it over here, right, it's not going to necessarily sell because that's not people in the market there for that who will get pulled into that store. But if you put it in one of the nice orange quartiles, you're certainly going to see have a better chance of success. I can't guarantee you sales. I think that would be illegal. But basically, that's one way you can do it with product, right? So you know who the consumer is, you know where they live, you know what resonates with them, you know your income, you know a day in their life, what sites they're on, right? What TV shows they watch, what purchases they make of other products. You can really utilize that data to help you structure what you're doing in the marketplace. Let's talk about promotion a little bit. This is really, when we talk about promotion, we're going to talk specifically around messaging, media mix, and ad effectiveness. Okay? So again, starting with the life stage groups. And we're looking at these, and these are people who said they're going to buy kitchen cabinets within the next year, right? And you can see that, again, let's start with the groups that are under-indexing, like striving singles, right? Again, it makes sense. They're not doing kitchens. They're mainly renters, right? If they own their first house, you know, they don't have the disposable income to do that. But the people who do are sustaining families, affluent empty nesters, and even cautious couples, right? These are the people who tell us, Nielsen, in the next year we plan on remodeling and buying new kitchen cabinets, right? So connecting with these groups in their lives. Some of the middle-aged, you know, some of these people are middle-aged with kids. Some are older, empty nesters, right? And all are in different income brackets. So again, you know, if you look at sustaining families, as I mentioned earlier, they're ones with one of the lower income levels, right? So the messaging about your product or trying to get them to buy your cabinets in this case, right, is very different than the people who are affluent empty nesters. Right? So if you're trying to reach both, well, you're kind of polarized on the end. So you need to think about messaging, and when working with your media agency to kind of say, all right, we need to have something for these folks if that's our target, and something for these folks if we also have a different set of products for affluent empty nesters. Right? Makes sense. Right? Talking the same language to, you know, I'm looking around this room, and I can guarantee you that we can talk about market research, and everyone's going to have a different level of understanding of market research and how into it they are or not into it they are. So if I had to segment the audience, right, I would have different conversations with people who have a lot of market research experience versus not. Right? Okay, let's take a step back for a second. Go back to those 66 segments. Right? Looking across all 66 segments, many of the top 20 segments, which skew obviously towards higher income, are in the market for kitchen cabinets. Right? But what I really want to show you is, again, because of the level and the depth of the information, the breadth and depth of information that Nielsen has, I want to take you a little bit deeper into one of the segments. And that arrow is segment 7, which is going to be segment 10, sorry, which is Second City Society. I can't get these names, I got to be honest. I mean, they've come up with them, and I'm still struggling with them. And wait, I'll show you a nice clip of it. But no, this one's actually a decent slide that we've put together. And, you know, again, so let's just look at the Second City Society folks in a little more detail. We can tell clients what percentage of the population they are, right? There are 1.45 million households that are classified as Second City Society, all right? And we can provide a description of them as well by providing information on demographics, psychographics, media preferences, and other information. Now, it's obviously harder to see from back there, but I apologize. These residents of satellite cities like Fairfield, Virginia, or Fairfax, Virginia, I forget which one. Fairfax, Virginia. Their demographic snapshot is they're 45 to 64 years old. They're smaller city, urbanicity, homeowners without kids mainly. Not all of them, right? But the main, as we group them together, the majority of them are. Upscale income with a median of a little over $82,000 a year. They're a mix of white, black, and Asian. Their graduate and education levels are pretty high. Graduate school. They will buy on credit rather than wait, right? This is all we know about these people. Just to give you an example, this is just one segment, right? So now, again, if you wanted to go after Second City people and if you had a specific product for these guys, you can take it down to this level, or you can group it up into the life stage level, or any custom grouping you want to create, which we do with our clients all the time. Their media consumption, they watch CNN, NBC, Bloomberg, HSN, and they watch golf and tennis events. I actually think I'm talking about myself, at least from the golf anyway. They read Sunset, well, I don't read Sunset, Coastal Living, Clippingers, daily weekend newspapers. Their lives, they love to vacation overseas in Spain, right? That's how specific we can get. We talk about where they go on vacation. They shop at Neiman Marcus, Saks Fifth Avenue, Thomasville, and all of this is, detail that we have based on their buying patterns. And belong to country clubs, enjoy golfing, sailing, bicycling, and playing tennis. So when you think about it from a media perspective, right? Golf Digest, tennis magazines, Tennis Channel, Golf Channel, you start to see how you can find these people and create messages that are going to resonate with where they are in their lives and what they buy and what they want at this point. So looking a little bit further now, going back up to the life stage groups, right? We can look at kitchen cabinets, and this is actually very interesting to me because we're breaking it out now by install versus have it install yourself or DIY versus install it professionally. And as you can see, younger people think they can do it themselves. Older people want them professionally installed. And also the affluence level plays into it, right? Makes a lot of sense. It isn't surprising, but it does illustrate messaging needs, right? They're in different phases in their life, right? Younger people have, they just bought their house, they're remodeling, they want to have as nice as possible, but they need to save money some way, and therefore they'll want to do it themselves. Where more affluent people, they have money and they say, "There's no way in hell I'm doing this," right? Has anyone ever tried to do it yourself? Install a kitchen? Okay, so there you go. And I've got some scars to show it myself. Any questions on anything so far on Second City Society, or anything we've talked about so far? Okay. So let's talk about placement, right? You can do this for channel optimization or actually market optimization, right? So we're going to talk about it from a market perspective right now. So channel optimization would be, they don't shop at Family Dollar, they shop at Saks Fifth Avenue. So I need to understand where I'd want to distribute, just to give you a really gross example of how different it could be. But you would at least understand where they shop if those are your target consumers. So we're looking at gas and electric dryers, right? And we're basically separating the two out. And you can get a great understanding of what channels your consumers shop in, or in this case, what markets they shop in. As we're going to go back to the map in a minute as we look at the gas and electric dryers. You can see that in either form appeals to more, either gas or electric, doesn't matter, appeals to more to the established households than not, which makes sense. Again, homeowners, people who would have to buy a major appliance. But however, you'll see that gas dryers skew more towards upper income than electric dryers, right? So as you think about who you're developing your products for, maybe potentially putting more bells and whistles on a gas dryer than you would on an electric dryer, right? Just to keep from a cost perspective, color, whatever you might be doing. That said, for those of you who might know about the appliance industry, for gas and electric, a lot of it depends on where you live too, right? It's not just about what I can afford. It's just I'm not plumb for gas, or I am plumb for gas, right? So amazingly enough, this looks just like northern New Jersey again. And you can see that it really skews towards electric dryers, right? Here's the electric dryer market potential. And again, looking at Lowe's and Home Depot in northern New Jersey, so Home Depot's in the red and Lowe's is in the blue, you can see the majority of the area is has a higher propensity to buy electric dryers than not. Okay, so again, from a placement and a market optimization, I know that I'm going to drop more electric dryers in this market than I'm going to have gas if I'm a manufacturer. I'm going to carry more electric dryers in stock than I am going to carry gas if I'm Home Depot or Lowe's or any of the independents in the area, right? So let's look at it by gas, right? It's almost a polar opposite. right? This would indicate, you know, that there's not that there's not a market for gas, but if I'm a retailer and I know in these counties right here, in these zip codes, this is where I need to carry gas dryers and have them in stock for delivery so I don't lose that sale to an independent. And I can tell you, like I said, I've been doing, especially in the appliance business for a long time, I know some of the nationals struggle with having the right mix in the right markets, and even their advertisements being done on a national level. So you'll see Best Buy, you know, not to pick on Best Buy, but you'll see Best Buy have an ad with, you know, gas dryers on their main thing in this part of New Jersey, yet the independent, like a PC Richard in the area, would have electric dryers and focused on the market because they just know it better, and they're a little bit more nimble and can maneuver that way. Okay, so again, information like this will help you capitalize on opportunities when you know you can. So again, you got Home Depot and you got Lowe's. So if I was an independent retailer and I was partnering with one of the manufacturers in this building, I'd want to make sure that I got the right mix of products for the marketplace that I was in. And if I was the manufacturer, I'd certainly want them to have it, because a lost sale based on an out of stock, you know, somebody trades off to another brand, that's very costly. I guess my time's up. I don't know why there's a blank slide. Okay, so the last of the 4 P's, right? We've covered product, promotion, and places, pricing, right? I can go all day about pricing, but really, it's the other 3 P's that influence pricing, right? If you don't sell, for those of you who don't sell directly to the consumer, or those you do, we have the ability to work with your own data to get pricing and to understand your customer database, right, to help you influence pricing. By understanding the segments and how that aligns to the marketplace and the competitors within, really all of these inputs will inform your pricing decisions. You can't look at price as a standalone, right? We wouldn't encourage anyone to do that. It just, there's too many dollars to be lost in just making a price move without understanding what the value of it is. Okay? Any questions to this point? Everyone ready to just like run out of here? I think Sean is. All right. So let's just talk about a little bit of a summary. So home improvement and appliances attract, and kitchen and bath categories attract a diverse group of consumers from all walks of life. Right? Well, there are some similarities that are far more, there are far more nuances by category, brand, and channel of distribution. Right? Segmentation. What segmentation really does, and what really, if you leave with nothing else from this presentation today, because I have no gifts, I have no giveaways, no prizes, segmentation creates understanding, right? Demographics are insufficient in today's marketplace. Just saying my customer is she, and she is 25 to 35 years old. It's not enough. Understanding geo-demographics, psychographics, lifestyles are critical to a company's success. Absolutely. Not just because if I was Nielsen, if I was running my own company, right, I would tell you that the first question I ask, who's your customer? What are you doing to find more of them? The better you know the customer, the better your chances are to influence their purchase decisions at critical times. Could it be at the time they start their research, right? Because we actually can work with customers to do proprietary research in advance of just segmentation to understand, you know, for example, let's just talk about a different category for a second. We've done some work on the television category, right? And I could tell you that there's a lot of research, and I'm sure anyone who's bought a TV or large screen TV recently, there's a lot of research that gets done on the web, right? And there's this whole trend called what they call showrooming. Is everyone familiar with that term, right? So people will go into a physical location of a store, look at a television and say, ah, that's the one I like, after they've done the research online, and then they're going to go back to online and buy the product, okay? We know who's doing that, where they're doing it, how often they do it, how long they spend on sites. We can actually, even through our online panel, we can actually track clicks going through. So I looked at a Samsung television, then I went to LG, and I spent 5 minutes on LG, but I went back to Samsung. And I spend 10 minutes. So we can do that, for example, for other categories too. So having that deep understanding of where they are, what they're doing, and what are those, the moment of truth where you can actually impact their decision is what we do, right? If I haven't done a very good job of kind of explaining that to today, I hope that boils it down for you, right? The whole reason we exist is to help you sell more, right? We help you sell more, we help you mitigate your risk. It's too costly and too dangerous for a company to just kind of fly by the seat of their pants anymore. It just doesn't make sense. Doesn't matter if you're, you know, Ford or if you're Lutron. So I can see two names there. It doesn't matter. You need to know, and if you're a small independent company, you need to know even more so. You need to understand that an investment in understanding who your customer is, it's not, market research is not it's not a cost, it's an investment. And if you ever buy data that only becomes a cost and you can't tie it back to some sort of ROI, then shame on you, right? Because that's not the way it should be done. Yeah, if you give me your card, yeah, I still, again, as I said earlier, I've been with Nielsen about a year, so I came from a smaller company where I had a lot more control and things got done a lot faster. From a legal perspective, I still need to have legal sign off on this before I can release it to even the Nielsen Exposition part of our business who runs this show. So if I get cards, I can certainly be more than happy to share the deck with you. We'll give you something to write it on, okay? Again, the whole thing about Nielsen and why Nielsen does this better than anybody else is just, again, as being the world's largest research company, we have access to more information than anyone else. And you couple that with data that companies have about their consumers or any other information that we can get from third parties, and we can really craft a tremendous understanding of consumers, right? Where people can really leverage that information to grow their business. And if we can do that, and we've done it time and time again, proven both, you know, be it for P&G on a soap, or be it for a consumer electronics or appliance manufacturer on a product of theirs. We know it works, we know the value of it, and we hope that you guys, you know, from this, for those of you who haven't done it or haven't had experience with consumer segmentation, have a little bit of a flavor for it. I promise you, if you talk to us after, I can certainly speak slower and a lot more clearer, so I won't have to look at a deck and try to figure out what I'm supposed to say as opposed to what really should come out of my mouth. And at this point, I'll ask if you have any questions. And again, I'll also remind you, for more information, if you want to go out to learn about Prism or the lifestyle segments, you can go to mybestsegments.com, and it'll give you more detail on all that stuff. What am I doing on time? Oh, perfect. Questions? Sean, ask me a question. Come on, man, make me feel good. Yep. Absolutely. I don't know if you were here for the beginning of the presentation, I showed something about store clustering, and I talked exactly about that, and using Home Depot and Lowe's locations, about kitchen cabinets, I believe it was, just showing what markets people who told us that they're in the market for buying kitchen cabinets in the next year, and where those over-index versus the locations of a Home Depot or Lowe's. We do product work all the time using segmentation, knowing who you're developing the product for, what influences their decisions, what they like and don't like, what other products they have purchased in the past, even from other categories, can influence your product decisions. So absolutely, we can help with product help. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. So Nielsen, again, as the world's largest research company, we have an online panel, and we actually, you know, everyone's familiar with the TV ratings, as we talked about before. So is anyone a Nielsen household here? Anyone have a box on their television? Okay, well, we actually have a program that sits on panelists' PCs that tracks everywhere they go. So that's how we know how much time they spend online. We're developing it. I think we have it for mobile phones, how big mobile commerce is becoming, what websites they go on their phones versus online as well. So yes, absolutely, we can talk about where they do their research. We can talk about what websites they look at. If you're looking for banner ads, to place banner ads, we have all that information. Okay. Any other questions? Nothing? For those of you who actually liked the presentation, thank you. For those of you who I bored, I very much apologize. Thanks very much.